The black-eyed kids. It was late in the evening when Sarah first heard the knocking at the door. She had just finished a long day at work, and the house was quiet, save for the soft hum of the refrigerator. The knock was gentle at first, barely audible. At first, she thought it might be the wind, but then there was a second, more insistent knock. Curious, Sarah walked to the door. She peered through the peephole, expecting to see one of her neighbors, but instead, she saw two children standing on her doorstep. They were small, around the ages of 10 or 12, and they looked normal at first glance. Their clothes were neat, though a little outdated, like something from an older time. But as Sarah's eyes settled on their faces, she felt a chill run down her spine. Their skin was pale, and their expressions were blank, almost unnatural. But what caught her attention the most were their eyes. They were completely black. No whites, no iris, just empty, soulless. The children, however, did not leave. They just stood there, staring at the door. One of them, a boy with dark hair, spoke in a voice that was far too calm for someone his age. "Let us in," he said softly, but there was something sinister in his tone. "We're cold." "No," Sarah said firmly, her voice shaking. "I don't know you. Go away." The boy didn't move, but the girl beside him raised her head slightly, her black eyes locking onto Sarah's through the peephole. A strange sensation washed over her, as if the girl's gaze was somehow invasive, like the eyes were seeing right through her. "Let us in," the boy repeated, his voice slightly more urgent now. "We're cold. We won't hurt you." With trembling hands, Sarah grabbed her phone and dialed the number for the police. But when she turned to the door again, the children were gone. The porch was empty. She opened the door cautiously. No trace of the children. It was as if they had never been there at all. The next morning, Sarah woke up to an unsettling discovery. Her phone had recorded the entire encounter. The footage was grainy, but as she watched it, her blood ran cold. There on the screen was the sound of knocking at the door, followed by the children's eerily calm voices asking to come in. But the footage didn't stop there. As Sarah watched in horror, the footage seemed to distort. The children's eyes, once black, now seemed to ripple and shift, as if their very presence was warping the reality around them. As the video ended, a single message appeared on her screen. "We are always watching." Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just a one-time occurrence. But from that moment on, she was never alone, no matter where she went. Sometimes when she looked in the mirror, she could swear she saw their reflection, watching her from behind, their black eyes glistening in the dark. No matter how hard she tried to forget, she knew the truth. The black-eyed kids weren't gone. They were always out there, waiting. And soon, they would return.